Hey guys, Multi here. So, last tier list before the start of the war within. I already made a tier list, like I think it's like 2 weeks ago. Here on the left side you can see that. I will do it today only DPS. Sure, there will be some changes, but also a lot of things stay the same. So let's hop on it, and I try to give a little bit of information why I put something on which place. Let's see how we start. Yeah, let's start like a little bit mixed up, or let's start with the. Let's start a little bit mixed up. Let's start how they are here right now. We start with Affliction Warlock. Affliction Warlock. I think it will be doing pretty good. I think I put it again into the A tier like I did 2 weeks ago. Still an A tier spec, a pretty good one. Arcane Mage, the same. I have less faith in Arcane Mage in like maybe in the other mage specs. That's why I only put it into the A tier. 2 weeks ago I put it into the S tier, so there is a slight change. I have not the best hope that Arcane Mage will be one of the best specs in the game, but it will be a pretty strong one, definitely. Next one here is Arms Warrior. Arms Warrior I think will not do that great. Just to make it clear, I think it will be in the middle of the pack to a decent B tier. Next one is Asa Rogue. Asa Rogue looks pretty strong. We had here some changes. They are strong as hell. Crazy damage output. They are right now definitely S tier. Balanced Druid. Balanced Druid, I had it into A tier just 2 weeks ago. Right now it looks a little bit more worse. I think I would put it even right now between B and C tier. But let's be honest. Do we really think Balanced Druid will be maybe a C tier spec in Mythic Plus, especially when we talk about higher keys? I'm not talking about a +8 or whatever. I'm talking about higher keys. Maybe not the highest in the world, but definitely about high keys. I don't believe that. I think I see still Balanced Druid as a good spec when it comes to scaling later on. I don't think we will see a C tier Balanced Druid. That's why I put it into the A tier. That's just my personal experience with that spec. Next one, Beastmaster Hunter. Looked pretty strong 2-3 weeks ago. Looks now pretty bad. Let's be honest. Looks now pretty bad. For medium keys, it's still a pretty good spec. As high as it goes, at worse it gets. Just to make that clear. So, not a good spec at the moment. I think in the middle of the pack, but a little bit in the lower half of the middle of the pack. Demo Warlock will be a little bit worse than Affliction Warlock right now at that moment, I think, but it still will be a pretty good spec. And Destruction Warlock is the worst of all the Warlock specs, and I think it could be the first spec that I would put into the C tier. Yeah, let's put it into the C tier. Next one, Evoker. Pretty bad, same as the Destruction Warlock. Then we come to a very interesting one, Elemental Shaman. Yeah, looks crazy strong at that moment. It's pretty strong. It's the second spec that I would put into the S tier. It is right now in the S tier, definitely. Will it also stay there for all the Season 1? I think that's hard to say. I mean, Elemental Shaman is a little bit a spec of... was it ever an S tier spec? Let's be honest, I don't know, maybe one time, one season, but apart from that, so it's very hard to say if they really keep their up, but at the moment, awesome. Enhancement Shaman, a pretty good spec right now, A tier, nothing bad about it. Feral Druid is... where I put Feral Druid. I think Feral Druid is good, but not that good. Maybe on the top of the B tier. Maybe in the top of the B tier. Yeah, I think I would put it on the bottom of the A tier. Next one is Fire Mage, and we come to the next interesting thing. Right now, I think Fire Mage is pretty bad. It is really around the worst specs right now for Mythic Plus. Do I believe it will stay like this? 100% no. 100% no. You know, Balanced Druid, Fire Mage, they scale. I cannot believe that Fire Mage will be a C tier or even worse tier spec for the first season of the War Within. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. So, is it Copium? Yeah, I'm not a Fire Mage player, but is it Copium? It's 100% Copium. Do I believe Fire Mage will be a C tier spec for the War Within? 100% no. Can I rank it like always into the S tier? No, definitely not. It's not possible. So what I'm doing with it, I think I would put it into the A tier, just to make it clear. It is not a good spec right now, but it will excel later on into the game. I cannot believe that it will stay C tier, or is it B tier? It's hard. It's hard. Let us have it right now in the B tier and come later on back to it. Frost Mage, for me right now the best mage spec. I would put it into the very low S tier or into the high A tier. I give it an S. Why? Because I definitely think that one of the mage spec will end up in the S tier, and that's why I make here a spot for mage. Next one, pretty interesting, because usually we don't see that high, is Frost DK. Frost DK is an awesome spec right now at that moment. It brings, seems like it brings like everything what you need right now for Mythic Plus for the first season. So I cannot believe that it will fall down a lot, but you never know if they make adjustments. But right now Frost DK looks pretty strong. Fury Warrior, let me say a little bit of Copium, but I still think it's a very good spec, and it will be at the higher end of the A tier in my opinion for the first season of the War Within. Next one, Marksmanship Hunter. I can already tell you guys, Hunter is not doing that well. It will be also just a B tier spec, decent for weekly keys, whatever, but not for higher things up there. Next one is the Outlaw Rogue. Just to make it clear, Assassination Rogue is much better than the two other rogue specs. So the two other rogue specs is a little bit like wherever you want to put it. I think I would put higher than Marksman, but also not that much higher. I think Outlaw will be a little bit better than, maybe a little bit worse than Sub Rogue. So, but we're coming later on to this. Next one here on the list is Retribution Paladin. Not a good spec at the moment. I think it will be also somewhere around here. B tier spec, decent, not more, not less. Shadow Priest is doing fine, but not that great, so lower end of the A tier. Sub Rogue a little bit better than the Outlaw Rogue, so let's put it on the front of the B tier. Survival Hunter is the best Hunter spec, definitely, but also not doing that great. And then we have the Havoc Demon Hunter. Havoc Demon Hunter is doing pretty decent. It's an A tier spec around here. I think on the lower end of the A tier, just to make that clear. Next one is Windwalker Monk. Is a little bit, I would say, if I would have to say one spec that is exactly in the middle of the pack, it's Windwalker Monk right now. So I'm not sure where exactly is the middle of the pack. I will put it here. That's pretty decent where it is. I forgot Unholy DK. As I can see here, Unholy DK is not doing anyway that great than already the Frost DK is doing. I think it's on the lower end of the A tier, maybe even top of the B tier. That's a little bit, like depending where you draw the line. So it's always also like more lower keys, more higher keys, more it's hard to say. Last but not least, definitely not the least one, is Augmentation Invoker, and I can tell you one thing again, it will be in 80-90% of the high keys. You will have an Augmentation Invoker paired with, at the moment, two of those other S tier specs. I think that would be the best option, and yeah, it's pretty strong. Hate it or love it, I hate it, but it is like it is. So what we have here, we have a pretty good S tier with 5 specs from 5 different classes, which makes it kind of okay. We have a pretty big A tier and a pretty big B tier. We only have 2 specs that I would say send help. Fire Mage is one of them, but Fire Mage, like I said, I cannot believe Fire Mage will stay there. So please have an eye on Fire Mage. Have an eye on Balance Druid, definitely. I think Fury Warrior can also make a positive surprise. Negative surprises that can happen here is maybe Frost Mage and Frost Decay. I think could be the negative surprises going further on into the season. And I think 2 of the worst specs at the moment are Destruction War, but also Beastmaster. Nah, let's put it down. I have Copium for Beastmaster, but at the moment they look pretty bad. So that's the tier list for Season 1, The War Within right now. They will have adjustments in the next 2-3 weeks. After this, I think the meta will settle. Just want to make it clear, I don't believe that an Augmentation Evoker, even after adjustments, will land in the C tier, and I don't think that a Beastmaster Hunter is going up in the S tier, but sure, an A tier spec can become an S tier, and so on and so on. So slight changes are definitely possible. That's it for this video, guys. Have fun with the new expansion. See you. Bye-bye.